Hey guys, and welcome to the 40th edition of Theories and Thoughts podcast with Arnya and
Fancy.
All right, see how y'all doing out there? What's up? What's up? How y'all feeling on this national holiday? Fancy, did you know it was a national holiday?
Yes, I really do know it is a national holiday.
It is our forever president birthday. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Today, I don't know how old he turned. Do you know how old he turned?
No, I know I miss him though. I do know that. Like, yeah. I was the one that made the post from the Swagger page. I was for real. Like, I just hope you see this or something.
So it's so funny. And I seen someone say in commemoration of his birthday, they went and listened to Michelle's podcast because he's
the first guest.
I'm gonna get to her podcast right after I get some my book I'm listening to, but we're gonna get to that later on. But I miss him too. I miss him. I miss him a lot. But it's so crazy because a lot of people are like, well, no, I heard someone say the other day, they said that they wanted black people wanted Barack to be what Trump is for white people. You agree?
Yeah, I definitely get it. Yeah.
Like, but Barack was everybody's president where Trump is like, F all y'all or whatever. So somebody said that and I was just saying. So, did you hear about the drama out here in Dallas? Hold up. So, I had people posting on Facebook, like, you know how you're on Facebook and you just start seeing stuff? Mm-hmm. So, Friendship West, my church is Friendship Baptist Church of the Colony. And people normally get my church mixed up with Friendship West Baptist Church in Dallas. Mm-hmm. And it was so crazy because everybody was posting about Friendship West, how these it was supposed to be back the blue rally. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't back the blue. It was the Blue Lives Matter rally. But they had Confederate flags and they had Trump 2020 flags. And I was just like you can be pro-police without being anti-black or anti-Black Lives Matter. Does that make sense? Like that's how I feel.
Yeah, and then like a lot of people say, blue is that's not an ethnicity or, like I almost want to say race, but then people like race in it. I don't know, however it works. But yeah, so of course, because, we're also not saying that all police are bad. So it's not just like, all black people are against the police either. But actually, I think we had, I don't know if it was that in exact, but I think we kind of had something like that here. Because as I was reading the article, like they had the Jeeps and the motorcycles or something. And about 2 weeks ago, I was taking Dylan to work and she works over by Cortana Mall. And it was like the parking lot was full of the same type of looking people. I say looking people.
See, they told them that they were doing a Black Lives rally. A Black Lives Matter rally. Like that's what they told them.
Oh,
so like when I read the article, well, not when I read the article, I was watching all kinds of stuff on it. On their Facebook page, mm-hmm. Haynes was like, somebody contacted the church and was like, they want to do a Black Lives Matter rally. But if you look at it, they have a big Black Lives Matter sign there, like on the church. And he's been a real, for injustice, he's been speaking out a lot, Freddie Haynes, mm-hmm. on injustice, like a lot, even on a national scale. So, of course, they're going to target his church, but they lie. Why you lying? If you for the good, why you lying? And it goes back to all police are not bad. So what they got to do with Trump? And what they got to do with the Confederate flag if you back in the blue?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I am really struggling to find this post to share it on my page and start my watch party. Like, even when I tried to find yours, it ended up doing something else. But I did not realize that they lied in that manner. I know one of the guys was saying something about like they had so many stops approved or whatever, and I think he maybe said that stop wasn't approved, like they weren't supposed to stop there. But either way, like, that's just, I don't know. I mean, it's Trump people type of behavior though, so it's to be
I should have had it up, but yeah, the pastor said that that it wasn't supposed to it was a here it is. It was not supposed to be it says, in support of the movement, we agree. It says Friendship West Baptist Church in Dallas said in a statement shared on their Facebook, this is by via Newsweek, that the church was contacted by a person in need of meeting space for a Black Lives Matter rally. In support of the movement, we agreed to allow the Black Lives Matter rally happen in our parking lot. The rally turned out to be a Blue Lives Matter, turning up where individuals flew Trump 2020 flags and a Confederate flag, the statement says. And this is another article. I don't know if this is the one I sent you. It says, the protest was held Sunday afternoon, and in this statement, Friendship West said the church experienced deceit and hate from a group of individuals in support of Blue Lives Matter, in recounting the correspondence that misled staff ahead of the Back the Blue event. I just really feel like if you for the good, why you got so much hate? That's what get me. Just so much hate, and
I get what you're saying though, because it would seem like a reasonable person would kind of consider it like, okay, and me, it seems like I'm doing a lot of head flicks, but my hair is getting in my eye. But it seems like a reasonable thinking person would, really stop and ask themselves something like that, because that is a very good question. But I don't know. Do you have anything else on this one?
Nah.
Well, so let me get to our sponsor for this evening. The first one, which is Lisa Home Mortgage. Sorry, I'm trying to get your name off the screen. Okay. So Lisa Home Mortgage is a faith-based mortgage brokerage serving the states of Florida and Pennsylvania, offering both residential and commercial mortgage loans. So if you are in the states of Florida or Pennsylvania, and you're looking to purchase a home, and aren't they saying like, I mean, I know that on top of the whole rent, like people struggling to pay rent and so on right now, but it seems like I saw some posts that said that now might be a good time to actually go into the home buying market. So definitely check out Miss Lisa, and you all can visit her website at lisahomemortgage.com. That's LISAHOMEMORTGAGE.com. And her Instagram is the same thing, Lisa Home Mortgage, which is the same way I just spelled it, all one word.
This might be a good time to because the rates are low, because they're trying to get people to buy homes in the market, but they're not doing any evictions, I don't think. Oh, okay. So going back to the whole hate thing, I've been reading Coretta Scott King's book, My Life, My Love, My Legacy. And y'all, let me tell y'all about Fancy. I was sitting there talking to Fancy, and I said, because our guest tonight has ovarian cancer. So I'm sitting there talking to Fancy, and I'm like, Fancy, did you know that Coretta had ovarian cancer? And she says, let me guess, you got that from Jamel. And I was like, you a hater. Because I will admit, one of my favorite You're right.
I know.
This is Jamel Hill. So I always reference things that Jamel said or Charlamagne the God says. So she was like, let me guess, you got that from Jamel. And I'm like, so that was,
you tried to wait and tell me after the fact
that Jamel suggested the book. Jamel suggested the book. But here's the thing with Coretta Scott King, My Life, My Love, My Legacy. Baby, she put a whole bunch of people on blast. Baby, Jesse Jackson. Baby, she said he liked the limelight. He tries to be bigger than what he is. But I looked at it as there's no Martin without no Coretta.
Right.
Period. Like, he knew from when he first met her that he's gonna marry her. He was like, so we're gonna get married. And he was seeing somebody. He had another woman down in Atlanta, you know? And he was like, nah, but Daddy King wanted him to be with the woman that was in Atlanta. I did not know that her parents didn't meet him until their wedding day.
Oh, I didn't know that. So, like, how long did they date? Out of curiosity.
They were together for 1 year and 5 months before they got married. They met in Boston. They both were going to Boston. He was in a theology, studying theology out there, and she was in studying music. I didn't know she sung. Did you know she was a singer?
No.
She was a singer. And y'all, I don't know if y'all anything like me. I don't like reading because I'm dyslexic. But I will listen to a good book. And I've been telling Fancy about this book ever since I started listening to it. Even Martin said a good woman is the key to a man's success. She felt like she had, especially after Martin passed, she didn't, it's like she didn't just say, woe is me. And she even said, I couldn't just sit there and I had to be strong for everybody. She was like, not just my kids. So when I left out the bathroom or her bedroom, she had to be strong. You know, she couldn't cry in front of everybody. And then she talked about the first time she did cry in public, but it wasn't about Martin. You know, I like the book because it gives firsthand account of the behind the scenes that was going on. You get to understand who she is. And today on my page, I said, I'm Coretta. Like, I am Coretta. I'm definitely Coretta. Like, she was like, when you determined to do something, I was determined. She said, as you can see, when I'm determined to do something, I'm going to get it done. So I think you would like it, Fancy. I really do.
I think I would too. I listen to a lot of business books and a lot of just like self-help, really. That's kind of been my main thing. I haven't read like a good autobiography or anything of that sort in a few years. Well, I think maybe the last one I was reading was like Gucci Mane or something. So, but and yeah, because that was right before Charlamagne's book, or well, right afterwards. But lately, I've just been, and I try to always, but whatever it is, it's always something that's educational for me. I do prefer listening to audiobooks as well, as opposed to like reading now, because it's just hard for me to sit and read when I already have to read so much for my work. But just actually, since you said that, it just made me think, because let me just shout her out, because I did purchase Audrea Richmond's Uncloned book, and I joined her Uncloned tribe. Now I am going to read this because I know that it's going to be, I forgot, how do you say it? Like, put it next to my face. Because I know that it's going to have like a lot of good stuff in it. But when I'm done with this and I finish my other current book, because I'll go back and re-listen to the stuff too, then I will be adding it to my list, because I have like on Instagram, I keep, you know how we have the little folders? And so I have folders, like a folder just for books. So yeah, that's what my little list is.
I was thinking about getting that book. I was thinking about joining the Uncloned tribe. I might do it.
It's been good. I didn't know you should have, because I had even shared that I had bought the book, and like if you bought the book, you got to attend like these other workshops, master classes that she was having with other speakers, and it was one I didn't get to attend all of them, but the replays are in the group, and then One though was with Marquell Russell. I know people probably saw like his ads and stuff on Facebook and Instagram, and he taught a class on and this is so off topic, but he taught a class on like creating your Facebook ads and just like how to do them correctly, and it was just so informative. So it was a really good investment in my opinion, because you know she just had a lot of other perks to go along with it. It wasn't just like you just purchased a book; you purchased a lot more than that. So I like.
That, I do a lot of business. I do Christian books. I do business books. I do, I guess, what you would call self-help books. Mm-hmm. And but I most like autobiographies. I like learning about people. So right now, my next book is going to be Bobby Brown's autobiography.
I heard that was good.
Right. And so I'm going to do his. You just told me Gucci Mane. I'm going to have to see if Gucci Mane one is in the library too. I don't do Audible. I mean, I could, but I do. I have Hoopla right now with the public library. They have a subscription to different audio sites that you can get the books from. So that's what I like.
I just learned about that, about the public library. Like somebody honestly just shared this post yesterday about that. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
Well, now you guys know, let me tell y'all, the public library. See, because at a time when CDs was a thing, I would go to the public library and get a CD, get a book on CDs. And I would listen to them. Like when I worked. When I first moved here, I would do that. So then after that, now I do audio. So I do it on my phone. And then it'd be me and Coretta in the morning because I'm starting to work out in the morning. So it'd be me and Coretta walking. And I just be like, he said that, he did that. Because she was like, you had to think about it, it was in the 70s when Martin got killed. And she was like, Martin, what did she say? She said that the men the men who walked with him had so much adversity against her with opening the King Center. It was like they had such an issue with that. They took issue with it, and they felt like the funds should have been going to, the organization that he founded and all this stuff. So that's why they gave so much backlash. And girl, but that Jesse, honey. And that's real reason why I listen to it. I ain't gonna lie, for the scandals, because Jamel was saying that she called out a whole lot of people.
Okay, I'm kind of interested in the Jesse part though now, because all my life I've always heard different little things, but I never really knew, so I'm just kind of curious. But I do have one of our guests in the queue now. I was looking at something else. Okay, all right. I'm gonna go ahead on and bring in Keneshie.
So tonight, you guys, hey, Keneshie, you're so pretty.
Thank you. Hey.
Tonight, guys, as you know, our topic is fighting health through friendship. That's what it is. Sorry.
Get it.
Fighting health through friendship. And one of the things, and that's why that was one of the reasons why I got so excited, because Coretta, I was telling her before you came on about Coretta, and when Coretta was talking about Martin Luther King's funeral, she also talked about, she was talking about some pictures. Right. And then the pictures, I went to Googling the pictures, and then they had pictures from her funeral. I was like, oh, well, let me see what she died from. And not saying that you're going to do that, but
no, darling. Don't. Yeah. I get it.
She had ovarian cancer. That's all I was saying.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
She had ovarian cancer. That's why I was like, I ain't try to be morbid or anything. But so it was interesting that we were going to talk to you this week about ovarian cancer. And I had just got to that part in the book about ovarian cancer.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's amazing. I didn't know that. So many people affected.
I know. That's why this was so important for us to bring to the table. And I was telling Fancy, that's one thing I love about the magazine and our podcast. We get to highlight people and highlight things that is near and dear to our hearts. So why don't you tell the people about yourself?
Well, my name is Keneshie Morrison. I live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm born and raised in Louisiana, a place called Bastrop, right near the Arkansas state line. That you go to Arkansas, you pass my little country town. And I have two daughters, age 13, Malika, and 21, Kaya. And that's where I start with me.
Okay, I have Louisiana roots too. I'm from New Orleans.
Okay. Yeah, right up the street.
Listen. Fancy, look like you wanted to say something.
Look, I was like, is Karlyn joining us?
I assume so.
Okay, I was gonna try to shoot her a text, but y'all know I be doing everything really slow. But we can still go on and start, of course.
Yeah, because I can definitely still speak to some of the things that you want to know about.
Right. So, I mean, I think it would really, I guess, kind of for me, because of course, okay, so I hadn't shared how I know Keneshie. So just and why this was something that I wanted us to do. But I met Keneshie a few years ago. After my first flight, we ended up being roommates when we were traveling with Love Like Menu, and we were in Annapolis, Maryland.
Yes.
And basically, we just kind of, she was really cool. Like, I really enjoyed her. And then as I went on a few other trips, and she was always there. And I think, oftentimes, especially when you go to those type of events, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Love Like Menu, but it is kind of like dinner. It was dinner for Black women, like professional or business women, and just we just basically try different restaurants.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you can it's different people. You never really know who's gonna be there at that particular dinner. So the fact that Keneshie was always there meant that she was kind of like my go-to person because I knew her. So then to just really learn, about your health situation. And I know I hadn't even reached out, but when I saw that Karlyn was still doing a campaign, I was like, okay, this is a way that I can do my part, to be able to help however we may can.
Right.
But also just, I thought that it was like really interesting watching the two of you and just kind of seeing her steadily pushing with the different campaigns or, just keeping you there and seems like uplifted. That really meant a lot to me, just kind of watching. For those who may not know, Karlyn was kind of like a mentor for me. So just watching her as a woman and watching her still keep that friendship, because a lot of times from different women that I've interviewed in the past, they've often talked about, when going through situations like yours, they'll pull away from people or, people will begin to pull away from them. And I watched her still, stick by you, seems like it throughout things. So, but while I'm still trying to shoot this text off, you can kind of tell us a little bit about, basically your diagnosis. And I was really curious as to what, how did you even begin to know, like, were you experiencing symptoms or what exactly happened?
Okay. So currently I'm 48, but at the time I was 47. And I think so I was diagnosed in August. Let's bump back to maybe June. I just started gaining weight. Well, I've always been a thin woman. I'm 5'7", 3/4, almost 5'8". But and I've always been like 130, 135. And if you know anything about height with weight, I was just this thin. And so I started to gain weight. So I'm excited, right? Because I'm gaining weight. I'm like, ooh, I can look like the grown woman that I think I am. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm hot flashing, unfortunately.
No, you're good.
It's a result of the surgery.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so let me get my thought back together. So June started gaining weight. May started gaining weight. June gaining weight. July. Around July, I was like losing my appetite. I could barely eat. And although I'm thin, I eat a lot. Any thin woman will tell you that. I eat a lot. And so everything was just changing. And it was those small things. So I didn't associate it with anything. at all, other than age. You know, hey, I'm aging. My grandma told me I might get big by the time I get close to 50. Yay. So one time I just happened to be laying down, and my stomach, literally, it was bulging. And I started, you take your hand, and I started, just pressing around the stomach area, and I felt a hard knot. The bulge was a hard knot at that point. And it was like, all right, something's going on. I think I went to work the next day. There's a young lady at work who's been very instrumental as well. Dedra, I was like, I felt comfortable with her. She's a 3-time breast cancer survivor. So I felt very comfortable with talking with her about this bulge that I felt. Took her hand and put it on, we talked about, it's like, look, no crazy stuff, but I need to take your hand so you can feel what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And she was like, no, ma'am, you got to go see somebody. I don't know if that was August the 1st, but August the 2nd of 2019, which was on a Friday morning, got myself up, got dressed, went to the doctor appointment. It wasn't my regular doctor, so I went to something like a clinic or whatever. I went to one of those. I can't think of federally health qualified center. There we go. And so I went to the one here in Baton Rouge on Airline Highway, and which was close to my house because I lived in the Glen Oaks area. And so I went there, and I was telling the young lady about my symptoms, what I was feeling, and all of that. And she was a little lax. She was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." Not discounting me, but people come in for all kind of stuff, and there's nothing wrong with them. Mm-hmm. I took her hand, and I put her hand on my stomach. They immediately took me over to the other side, which was more of if they have to transport you to the real hospital. Mm-hmm. So they transported me over to the other side, which is still connected to this place. And they do the dye, the CT dyes in. And I go, they take me in the room, and I'm waiting for them to come back with the results. And 2 of them walked in, which should have been the thing to let me know that something was going on. And I was so both of them walked in. The doctor said, basically, Miss Morrison, okay, you have ovarian cancer. And I pretty much just kind of like stood there, sat there. I started to hyperventilate. I have never hyperventilated in my life, but I started to hyperventilate, and I was just going and going and going. And the nurse practitioner, she just grabbed me by my shoulders. She just rubbed me. She say, "I'm here." She say, "I'm here. Just calm down. Just calm down. I'm here. Do you have someone you could call?" Well, I called Dedra. Dedra was at work. We worked together, right? Dedra was at work. It was probably 9:30 in the morning. I was crying when she finally got on the phone. I asked her, was she by herself? She walked out. I said, "Ma'am, I know you're at work, but I need you to come up here. They just told me I had cancer." And Dedra was up Airline Highway within 15 minutes. And we worked out near Blue Bonnet and Airline. We were I was in North Baton Rouge. Fancy know about North Baton Rouge to Blue Bonnet. So, that she made it in, and that pretty much was, how that started. And because she was a 3-time breast cancer survivor, 2-time breast cancer, 1-time ovarian cancer. I chose her doctor. I mean, because she's still here. So,
right?
Yeah. And so I chose her doctor, and I immediately called the doctor and started working with them. And you guys interject whenever you want to know something specific. And I don't know if I told anybody else but her at that point, because man, I didn't realize how hard it is to tell people you have cancer. I mean, it is extremely hard to get those words out of your mouth the very first time to my 21, at the time, 20-year-old daughter, my, at the time, 12-year-old daughter, you know, to tell them something like that. And so I think it took me another month to tell my kids. And so I did call Karlyn. I think I may have called Karlyn within a couple weeks, and I broke the news to her. And you know, I started researching, which was a bad thing to do in the very beginning. It really is, because once you start researching stuff, everything tells you you're gonna die. And that's not really good for a person who just got diagnosed and they have no clue if they're about to have surgery. They have no clue if, you know, they're just going to do chemo, or if they're just going to decide, you know, hey, I don't even want to live that type of life. I'm just going to enjoy what time I have. You know, there's just so many options out there. So diagnosed, working through it, losing weight, losing the energy at this point, because now I know that the lack of energy that I had, which I didn't really think it was a lack of energy, but now hindsight, yeah, lack of energy. I had a lot of lack of energy, not eating well, and the bulge, the gaining weight first and then the bulge. And so, you know, that's just how that journey started for me, August 2nd, 2019.
Wow. And then you said it without crying. Like, I'm such a crybaby. I think I would have just been like in tears just now.
It was coming up a little bit. I don't know if you know, if you knew me, you'd be like, "Woo, she about to lose it."
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I definitely can relate on the opposite side. My aunt had breast cancer, and when she called me, it was like, "What you talking about?" You know, and I live in Dallas and she's in New Orleans. So it's like, you know, I gotta get it down there, you know, and you don't know what to say. But I love the fact that you had someone there who can, you had someone there that can talk to you about it, someone who had dealt with it. And I always say, a person who's gone through something can tell you about it, yes. Opposed to someone who's never gone through it.
Right.
So walk us through your process. So, okay, bam, you got Deidre's doctor. You went, bam. What was the first thing? It was test. What was the? So
I had already had a test, and that test was transferred to. As a matter of fact, I called the doctor, got his talked to him, told him what was going on, got his information, and then afterwards they called me back and connected, and I had to go up there and do HIPAA. Had to do the HIPAA form so they could get my information from the place up from the health center up Airline, and they sent them my information. Well, they still needed to do their own test, just because of, hospital insurance and all of this type of stuff.
Right.
So he sent me for a test, and of course it still came back, the same thing. But what that did was came back and let me know that it was actually stage 4. So he staged me. He was the one that let me know what my stage was, how high my cancer marker was, which is called the CA-125, how high that cancer marker was, which was extremely high. What were you about to ask me, Fancy?
No.
Okay. My cancer marker when I got diagnosed was 8,000 and something. It was almost 9,000. Wasn't quite. It was like 8,800 and something. Anyone that's listening and they know about CA-125 and the cancer markers, that is extremely high.
Okay.
That is extremely high. Hence the stage 4.
Right.
So got the doctor, did the test, then set up the appointments where I actually had two oncologists. I have my surgery oncologist, and then I have my oncologist who I see regularly that administers the chemo. Both of those gentlemen worked together in conjunction with me. So I actually have two oncologists. And so, yeah, thank you, ma'am. And so, I'm sorry, you guys.
It's okay.
It's my dog. And so I have two doctors. And so one doctor, the doctor who was Dedra's doctor, he's my main doctor. And so then my other doctor is the one that does the surgery. And so I was seeing both of them simultaneously for a while. And we both, all three of us came to the conclusion that I was going to start chemo first, as opposed to having the debulking surgery first. The debulking surgery being the actually what most women call a hysterectomy, but it's actually called a oophorectomy, because they take out everything, absolutely everything.
So you're saying there are two different types of surgeries then, the hysterectomy and the
oophorectomy.
Oophorectomy. Okay.
Yeah, me neither until we started talking, and it was like they were taking out more than the fallopian tubes, or they were taking it all out. Everything was coming out. Hence the reason why it's not called a hysterectomy. It's called a oophorectomy. So, and I could very well be mispronouncing it, because for some reason I think a M is supposed to be in there, but we're gonna let that slide.
Listen. So your process was, okay, you had the first test, then you had the second test, you had two doctors, and everybody comes to an agreement that
we're going to start chemotherapy first, because they didn't want the tumors. There was one tumor that was sizable, about 9 centimeters, and then there was some other smaller tumors. So we started the chemotherapy first in order to kill the tumors, bring them down to keep them from not growing. Had they did the surgery first, I could have possibly still had tumors growing inside of me, because the chemotherapy is what actually affected that. So we decided, I agreed with them. I was looking at everything, researching, and I agreed with it. And so we started the chemotherapy, 6 rounds of Taxol and carboplatin. And the treatments were every 3 weeks. So once every 3 weeks, I would go in for carboplatin Taxol. My treatments, I was in the treatment room for at least 5 hours, tops. I mean, at minimum 5 hours. So basically my whole day was doing treatment.
Right.
And did that for 6 rounds. Then in this January of 2020, had my surgery. And after surgery, did one more round. And as a matter of fact, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but we could go back to that. Went to Jamaica first, came back from Jamaica, and did the last round in March. As a matter of fact, on March 10th, which was the date of when my father passed, and who he passed from small intestine cancer.
This year?
In 2016.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you went to Jamaica as to get treatment or for vacation?
Treatment. I went, Karlyn called me, and she was like, we always talk, during that time frame. And she was like, look, I know this doctor, because she had been to Jamaica so many times. Fancy can tell you, she had been to Jamaica several times that year. I think they went like 3 or 4 times. I was so jelly. And so she was like, I really want you to meet this doctor. I've been working with him. She does a lot of mission work over in Montego. And so she was like, ask your doctor, can you go? Can you travel? And if so, then I'm going to book this and we're going to get this going. And so the trip to Jamaica was literally specifically to visit another doctor. I sent him my records in advance, so he had all of my records, and so he could speak directly to, my disease. He, I worked with him, and I still work with that doctor. And I do medicines with that doctor as well, some holistic stuff in addition to chemotherapy. So that was then at that time.
Okay, so now where are you in the process?
So now, unfortunately, so let me back. So March, last chemo. So from March up until last month, I was in remission. I was taking a maintenance drug called Imparza, and it came back. And it came back on, if we could just have biology class for a second. We all know the kidney looks like a bean. And so our, what we call the ureter, runs from our kidney down into where we urinate and all of that. And so basically a tumor is growing. Is currently growing there on the ureter. And my doctors are like, you should have bowel blockage, you should have urinary blockage and all. I do not. No pain. I didn't have pain the first time. Don't have pain now. And so right now I'm back at it. I do chemo weekly. As a matter of fact, I go to chemo tomorrow. And we start with a new regimen. It's a Taxol weekly, and every third week it's Taxol and a drug called Avastin, which is a more targeted drug, which is what the doctors told me, both of my oncologists, because I went, now I'm still working with both of them. And very positive, I'm positive about the whole situation, but that's where I'm at right now. So still battling it, and unfortunately, it came back, but fortunately, me being who I am my mother's daughter. You cannot have me. It's not that time. Right. So just trying to make sure that I continue on with the treatments, that I keep up with my eating habits, that, I'm a pretty healthy eating person, but I had to take a whole bunch of other things out of my diet that just, is just not, conducive to, that just feeds into the cancer, things that you don't even realize. So definitely, watching what I eat, watching what I drink, making sure I institute things, like Keneshie weed, which is not marijuana, but it's called Keneshie weed. And
here.
That, honey, now I'll tell you, because both of my doctors are ironically not doctors who, most people get those doctors, they tell you don't smoke marijuana, or that's not good. But these two doctors, they were like, Miss Marson, we just want to know what you're doing so we can make sure it can be incorporated in everything as well. So both of my doctors know that regimen too is in my life. And
so it don't have no counter effects. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it helps me eat, because I'm gonna tell y'all, I don't have an appetite now. Like, I can go all day and not eat because I don't have an appetite. I'm hungry, but I don't have an appetite, which is horrible. So that helps me to eat. But like I said, the things like Keneshie weed, which is something that I learned about when I did go to Jamaica. This gentleman that has a property, and at his property, he grows everything. And he just took us around the property and talked about the different plants that he had, and what this plant does and what that plant does, and the things that I should be trying to incorporate and make sure that I locate and imply with myself.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for walking us through that process. What you got, Fancy?
But I've been trying to. Karlyn is,
Hey, there she is.
I'm sorry, Karlyn. You are now on because you like looking at the screen. Can you hear us and see us?
Yes. Should I turn off Facebook because it's echoing? Should I turn Facebook off?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Karlyn.
Hi.
So we just you came in just in the right time. So as we said, that this is pretty much friends fighting for help. I can't remember our specific title, but the friendship part. So you had Deidre and you had Karlyn, and Karlyn knew someone. So Karlyn sounds like me. Let me call all my resources.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find somebody gonna help my friend, because this is what's about to go down.
Right.
So Karlyn, as a friend, as I shared with Keneshie, did I say no? That's not right.
Keneshie.
Girl, don't get her started.
Yes.
People say my name wrong all day. So I feel you, sis. I feel you. I shared with Keneshie that my aunt had breast cancer and how I felt when she told me that. So, this may be a stupid question, but what was that thought? Okay, when she told you, she picked up the phone and she said, "This is what this is." Did you go right into research mode? What was that?
I think I walk every morning, and so we end up talking, and she said that she was having some bloating, and she said, "I'm gonna go and see what's up with this bloating." She said, "It's not normal. I'm not losing the stomach weight." And so the next week she called and she told me what it was. And she's strong, but Keneshie is the type that she represses things. Like, she holds it in. She holds a lot of things in, but she did share that. But if she was upset, she's never going to say it. She's never going to show it. She's never going to be vulnerable. And so I just knew that she was strong, and I just know that till this day, this is a battle that we're going to win. So no, I'm going to do whatever I can. She's going to do whatever she can. And I was just in fight mode when she said it. I'm always ready for cancer. My dad had cancer over 20 years, and the first diagnosis, they gave him 6 months to live. My aunt had cancer. They gave her 6 months to live. My dad lived 20 years later, and my aunt lived 6 years with terminal cancer later. And they only gave her a few months to live. So cancer is not the end. And so, no, I wasn't afraid at all. If that answered your question.
It did. I'm starting to see all our comments are starting to come in.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah.
They're usually all in there doing a thing. Yeah, so friendship is such a beautiful thing, especially when you have a fighter that's like, "No, girl, come on. No, girl, come on. No, girl." And she was telling us about the going over to Jamaica and having all these different herbs or what have you.
Visited the property.
Right. Jamaica was awesome. We go like 4 times a year. So I knew a lot of people there who were researching cannabis, and not actually the cannabis, but the terpene that's in the cannabis. Mm-hmm. And I think Harvard collaborated with Dr. Gordon, and they're building a research center in Kingston, Jamaica. And like I said, since I had the connections, when Keneshie said that, she was going to be done with the chemo, I said, "We're going to Jamaica." I said, this is not the end. I said, and even with going in remission, you still want to be holistic as well. So you can treat it with the chemotherapy, but then once you get your numbers down, you want to go that holistic route as well. And so I was like, look, I talked with my husband about it, and he was like, yeah, he was like, let's get her to go. He was like, Keneshie cool. And what I like about Keneshie, since day one, whatever I do, if I'm selling dog food, Keneshie is on board with me. That's dog food, you know what I mean? She is that friend. So no matter what, Francesca too, no matter what. I've known Francesca since she was a little girl at Southern, 21. So it's like no matter what, whatever we do, the women around me are supportive of me. I'm telling you, if I sell dog food, you know, we're all going, hey, yeah, get this for your dog. But I just couldn't sit back and do anything. So I was like, look, we going. And I was so happy that she was like, okay. And so my best friend that's from Chicago, she said, I want to see Keneshie. I want to see Keneshie. I want to see Keneshie. I said, okay. She said, I'm going to fly down. I said, I'll meet you. And so her last, was it your, it was
the last treatment that we did March 10th.
Right. So she had that, I think she had one more treatment, and then she had a break. And so we went to Jamaica then, but my best friend wanted to see her. And so we went, we sat with her 5 hours for her chemotherapy.
Yeah.
And then after that, I met Keneshie like 2 weeks later. We flew to Jamaica. And when I tell you, we had a great time. We took care of business, but we also had fun times as well. Keneshie liked to do her own thing. And she and so I'm like a mother hen. I think Francesca called me the mother hen. And so but I had to check myself too and say, hey, back off, let her have fun as well, you know what I'm saying? And so we were there to meet with doctors, but I let her have a glass of wine, and then I just chilled. I was like, okay, look, this is not the time or place. Allow her to be free and allow her to do her thing as well. You know what I'm saying? So it was great. We met with Dr. Gordon like 5 hours, and I heard a little bit of the interview. So she kind of told you guys everything that Dr. Gordon talked about, and it was inexpensive because if you go to a holistic doctor here, it's like $2,000. We paid $200, and I think the drug was $100. And when I tell you a wealth of knowledge, this man has spoke at Harvard.
Oh my God!
He was incredible.
He really
and I want to take a few more other people there. He specializes in thyroid conditions, gastrointestinal, but I would love to take a lot of more people there because there is healing. And and the thing that he told Keneshie is that when you change your diet as well, like he attacked the mind, the body, and the soul, and basically he was saying, hey, you tried chemo, but he wasn't like, oh no, that's poison. He said, well, we're going to treat it holistically. And then he tells you what to eat as well. And then also positive affirmations, like all of these things that you have to be in order to be healed. You just can't be healed by taking chemo. You just can't be healed by taking this holistic medicine. Your mind has to be ready and receiving to be healed. You have to believe it as well. And so you have to take care of that mental component as well. And so he attacked all of that. And when I say it was a healing retreat, we journeyed across the whole country of Jamaica. Like, it was incredible.
It was.
We did everything. We ate authentic food. We were in the mountains.
We were everywhere. We would be places. People would be like, "Hey, Karlyn, how do you know these people?"
Yeah.
I mean, just out the blue. I mean, it was just so welcoming, and the local folk were just so. I mean, it was just welcoming, and when we talk about where we went, and it was my first time there, and so it was great. It was great to visit with the doctor. We sat with him for at least 3 or 4 hours. This man gave so much wealth of knowledge. It wasn't going to see him for a couple minutes and then we were on about our business. We literally were there for about 3 or 4 hours.
And what was actually shocking, and I don't think I ever shared this with Keneshie. Like I said, Keneshie's very surface and telling you things, and so you mentioned the diagnosis. She just said she had ovarian cancer. She didn't say what stage it was in. She said nothing. So Mind you, months have gone on. I've sat with her for chemo. And I didn't ask. And so I said, well, can I sit in with you? She said, yes. The doctor said, yes. So when I sat in and he read her report, it was then that I found out that her ovarian cancer was in the advanced stage. And I wanted to like fall out on the floor, but I'm like, it's like, oh, and I knew it was something more serious, but she never let on how serious it was. And so it was at that moment that I found out sitting there with the doctor in Jamaica. But he was so his mouth was wide open because her numbers went from 8,000 to 54.
Wow.
Yeah. Her numbers were 8,000. It was advanced ovarian cancer, and she was down to 54. And he brought other doctors in. He was telling them about her, and it's like, this is amazing. She's a miracle. And I just believe that we go through things in life.
And my Jamaican doctors say that.
Yeah. But like I said, she never let anybody know how serious it was. And so I wanted to just cry and just fall the hell out. But I was like, but I didn't. And she was just as calm. And so I was like, okay, we still have this. And so, and we still have it. And she came back to Atlanta after our trip from Jamaica, and she said that the cancer had returned. And at that point, I cried when you went home.
Really?
Yeah.
Y'all,
I asked my husband, I said, is Keneshie gone? And he said, yes. And I sat down and I cried my ass off, and he did too. And we both waited for you to leave. And because I'd been with her the whole week, I had been with her 8 days in Jamaica. She was at my house. She, just a month ago, we did a whole, and not that I was crying because I thought that it was the end or that it was just so much. And I'm like, she's been through so much, but yet she smiles, for a person to go through so much in life. And she has so much strength. And like I said, I've been through this with my father, with my great aunt who I took care of, my stepfather, and I can't name a lot of other people, but for her to be my peer, my friend, somebody so supportive. And yes, she smiles, and yes, she's happy, so for me, it was like she was here the whole time, but I think it was just a time to release, a time to cry and just say, God, she's been through so much, and she just continues to smile. But I look up to you, Keneshie, and I'm going to do whatever I can to help you fight this battle, because a lot of times it's hard to do it alone. And so when other people, like when I see other people walking, it's people who would never think of walking, and so they're out walking, they're ordering t-shirts, and people that don't even know her, like some of the girls that went to high school with me never met her, and they're out walking in Chicago and Texas and Maryland, New York, so everybody's out walking. And then Keneshie's been through so much, and I don't know if she mentioned, but as soon as she got off the plane, her aunt died. And I'm like, God, how much more can she take? And she wasn't concerned about her aunt. Herself. She was concerned about her aunt. Everybody's looking up to her. And I'm like, God, this girl is fighting for her life, but yet everybody's calling her, telling her the aunt died, and can you do this? Can you do that? She's like, I'm out of town. And so we did a healing journey here as well in Atlanta. Yep. We have a place called Sweet Spot Atlanta.
Awesome.
And it's incredible. We went to the Vitamin Lady in Atlanta. Awesome. And so we go to holistic places here in Atlanta as well. And the young lady Aja at Sweet Spot Atlanta, she did a whole ceremony for Keneshie and I. And she told her as well, you're gonna have to go on a vegan diet, and you have this, sister, and so it was very powerful.
It was.
And also the vitamin lady, eating for your blood type and doing things so that the ovarian cancer won't come back. So if you don't feed it toxins, it can't live.
Right.
So so we do things like that. Like I just believe in addressing things, no time for the girl shit. Excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? No time for the we're about business. When she comes in town or when we're together, we're going to treat this thing holistically, and we're going to surround ourselves with positive women in the community, with people who know what they're doing to heal her. Reiki doctors, clearing those chakras. I mean, powerful people who can actually help.
Yeah.
So we know that were you about to say, Fancy?
Well, I was gonna say, because we actually hadn't, or maybe you all did as I was off, but we hadn't really discussed the fundraiser itself.
Okay.
The women walking, so I just wanted to make sure that you all kind of share a little bit about that, and I'm trying to get it up on the screen as well now. So.
Okay.
And I put the GoFundMe in the comments just now.
Okay. Okay.
So go ahead and tell us about the fundraising.
Okay, so I always like to do my own thing. So like I said, I walk every day. So when Keneshie was here, I said, we're going to walk for you, because we were doing a push-up challenge at the time. And I said, Keneshie, we're going to walk for you. And so she said, oh, okay. And so we do Black Girls Travel Therapy. We always have these t-shirts. And so if anybody knows me, I'm a theme girl. Like, there's always a theme. There's always a color. And so we decided to do the Black Girls Travel Therapy Get Fit Challenge in support of Keneshie. And so the challenge is to get people to walk minimum 3 to 5 miles 1 day per week. Because the thing is that what we talked about, like what we've been stressing, is self-help.
Right.
But at staying healthy as a Black woman, being healthy. And so walking is great for your mental health, physical health, and spiritual health. It's when I walk that God talks to me. It's when I walk that healing takes place. And so those walks save me a lot of days from being depressed. If I'm off balance, that walking puts me back on balance. And so I decided that we were going to do the walk 3 to 5 miles. Like I said, 1 day per week was the challenge, and a lot of us do it more than 1 day per week. And in support of Keneshie. So instead of having on a regular Black Girls Therapy t-shirt, we're going to get teal. So we have teal tanks, and then we have t-shirts for the Get Fit Challenge in support of Keneshie. And so women walk. And the idea, and the tanks, some tanks are being shipped out this week. The t-shirts will be shipped out in 2 weeks, because we're still taking orders, but the tanks are in now. And so you walk and you have your t-shirt on, and then you do a short video. Or you can do a short boomerang, or just take a picture of yourself and say what city and state you're in, and you're walking for Keneshie with the Black Girls Travel Therapy Get Fit Challenge. And so that's basically what we've been doing the last 2 or 3 weeks. But like I said, this week, the young ladies who ordered tanks, they should be coming in. A lot of people have ordered t-shirts. And so the orders are coming in every day. And then some people donate. And so Tracy Daniels donated a shirt for your daughter, Keneshie.
Oh, okay. Tracy.
Yeah, because then I was like, okay, I said she has 2 daughters, and so she said, okay, I'll donate one to her daughter. So we do have
because I walk every morning, but I don't do 3 miles. I do 2.
You got to do 3. You have to do 3. And the thing is that, you know what? When you think about it, and her fighting, you're gonna fight too, because you're gonna fight for yourself as well, and you're gonna love you more. And when you do, you feel better. I can't tell you how many women who suffer with bipolar, who suffer with depression and anxiety, and have called me and said, "Hey, since I've been walking, I haven't had any episodes." You know, and so that's the thing. When you exercise, you can heal your mental illness. You have to set your intentions and focus, and exercising will get rid of all of that. And so a lot of women, as long as they stay focused and they exercise, just keep pushing. You can do it. And let me tell you, when I was on it, I lost 3 pounds in a week by walking. And really being on it, pushing to do those 5 miles instead of the minimum, which was 3. So it does work. And I said, wait a minute, if Keneshie can sit and take that chemotherapy for 5 hours, because we were there 5 whole hours and you slow dripping. And I said, if she can go through all of that, I can walk 5 miles in this hot sun. Yeah. So
I'm about to get
you
started.
can do it.
Look, y'all, one time, Karlyn, actually, I went out walking with her on my, I think we did like 5 miles that day. I thought we were just gonna like go around the block a little. Yeah, I was so damn.
You gotta
so tired, like, and just, but I made it, and that actually taught me, you know. Okay, but look, I probably haven't went that long, and I don't know how long. Probably since the last time I saw you. But actually, since you just said that about the 5 hours, that really does, you know, it makes me rethink it. Like, because I used to be able to get up to 3, so now I'm gonna try to get back to the 3 first for starters.
Yeah. I have to find a time for the 3, but
yeah, you got to get up early. Fit it in, get up early, and sometimes you can take your calls while you're out there.
Yeah. Well, I like to work out in the mornings, then I come and sit down here and I work on my full time and then everything else. But I can do that for you, Keneshie.
Oh,
listen, this is beautiful. Fancy, you had something more?
No.
I actually wanted to, if I could just chime in, I wanted to make sure that, just to throw out there that the key to fighting cancer, and then especially any of the gynecological cancers, as they're called, is early testing, early detection. Pap smears do not detect anything. Pap smears are merely, Pap smears are good for what Pap smears are good for, but Pap smears do not detect cancers. Pap smears do not detect any growths. You have to be sure to ask your primary doctor or your OBGYN if you have one. But either one of those doctors, you got to be sure that you're asking them about testing specifically for gynecological cancers. If you have young girls, I'm not a big pusher of the HPV. I would want folks to research that themselves. But a new study just came out day before yesterday about HPV and the gynecological cancers. So it's just something that women need to familiarize themselves with, and just make sure that they know, and that we all know that if things start to change in your body, it's not always age. Could be, but it's not always. And just to be mindful to take yourself immediately, because had I waited any longer, God knows what. But I did take myself, even though I was scared. I also wanted to point out to the fact that when I found out this last time, actually the nurse practitioner did the test out of turn. She wasn't even supposed to do the test when I came in. And so, again, nothing but divine intervention, because she called me the next day and she was like, "Miss Morrison." And so there we went with that. And so that weekend, I was in Atlanta because I needed to get out of Baton Rouge. I needed to breathe. I needed to get away. Need to get away from the kid. I just needed to get away. And Karlyn and Patrick have been so great. They have been so instrumental. I mean, I was getting care packages from them. You know, I have teas and all kind of stuff that Karlyn and Patrick have gifted me, sent to me. And so, you know, I love her dearly because she has been so instrumental in getting our friend base, and then plus people that I don't even know that she deals with. You know, just getting folks all involved, and every now and then I get a tag from somebody I don't even know, but I know why I got the tag. And so I make sure I said thank you and appreciate you, and I'm there with you while you're here with me. And so I'm appreciative of everyone who speaks life into me. And Karlyn is definitely one of those people. I mean, my God, the little woman just gets you.
Well, we appreciate y'all for coming on.
Well, thank you for having us.
The power of friendship. This was so good to me. Just, you know, the knowledge, definitely, and the sisterhood. You know, Black women being together. I always love that, to see Black women just like, come on, sis, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Oh yeah, you know, Karlyn was the person, her and Rich Gigi, they were the first ones to get me out of the country. That was my first time meeting her. My first time meeting her in person was in Mexico.
Yes.
So we, So I've traveled a lot meeting her. I've done some different things. Our dinner with divas and meeting up with different women from different states. Meeting Francesca and befriending her.
Remember Marilyn, Francesca? We cry, we curse each other out, and you know.
I was going to tell you earlier, Karlyn is possibly the only other person that I've just really argued with. The way sometimes you and I kind of have our clashes. Me and Karlyn went way harder than that, actually. But,
yeah, like at the end, they all want to beat me up. And
but you know what? But the thing that I feel like me and Fancy have this special bond, because I would have threw her away a long time ago and just been like, we clash. We clash. We really do. But it's the beauty of coming together and being like, you know what? Okay, that's how you felt. Okay, this is how I felt. All right, now let's go. Exactly. You know, that's how I feel like.
And I think as Black women, that's what we have to do, because it's okay to have your differences, and confrontation is good. I love it. And like a lot of times I do, and Francesca tell you, I would let them go at it. And then I would say, now, how that feel? And you know, because the whole thing is that you have to hear yourself and you have to get it out. Communication is also the key to healing any type of mental illness. If you keep things in, it's going to continue to grow. You have to express yourself, and sometimes you just gotta scream at whoever. You have to confront people, but it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's called communication.
That's what we're gonna start saying.
It's love in the end.
Yeah,
right? It comes from a love
communicating.
Yeah,
I can't deal with you right now.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to be called out on your stuff.
Yeah.
She calls me out.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for joining us this evening.
Yes, thank you for thinking about us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. I'm so proud.
I really hope it helps. I saw a lot of the other Black Girls Travel Therapy, or Dinner with Divas people kind of on and watching, but I hope that we also touch some other people, because I just really, I'd be hoping that this really helps whoever is on here.
Right.
When you know the person,
That's why I speak out. That's why I speak out too, Fancy. I posted, I posted things on my page that, I don't do that because I'm looking for something, because like Karlyn said, I will fall back to the back.
Yeah.
I don't need that type of, but I say that to say, because there is somebody out there who's feeling the way that I was feeling, who's lost their appetite, who's gaining weight, and they're just thinking it's a life change when it could be something else.
Right.
Pay attention to your cycles, and if they're abnormal. I mean, your cycle is not just abnormal to be abnormal. So you got to make sure that, you get those things checked. And so that's why I talk about it. I have 2 daughters. So, I have to battle for them.
Right. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Cancer awareness month next month. Sorry. I was about to say ovarian awareness. Cancer month is next month.
Okay.
Say it again.
She said ovarian cancer awareness.
Y'all have one for next month. Also.
Right? In October. No, I'm sorry. September is ovarian cancer awareness month.
Yeah, that's what she just said.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so that's another reason for y'all to get y'all teas. So thank Keneshie and Karlyn for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone that watched.
Okay.
Well, at least I know it's not just me that be clashing with you. But you know what? I think we both grown with our clashes. That's how I feel. We both grown. So that was good. That was amazing.
Oh, and look, I'm sorry. I'm heading right into the other sponsor. You know how I be. Oh. So look, why am I not finding it? Okay, so our second sponsor for the evening is actually the Regal Phoenix. And let me get her up on the screen. So the Regal Phoenix is a metaphysical boutique offering candles, apparel, accessories, tarot, Reiki, and more. I've never said that word out loud. So y'all, that's why I'm like, if I mispronounce it, just let me know. But you all can visit her website at the Regal Phoenix. That's TheRegalPhoenix.com, and follow also on the Regal Phoenix at Instagram. On Instagram, and that's again just the Regal Phoenix, all one word. So,
as always, we have our Never Thirsty tumblers. Here you can find it on the Swag Her website. I didn't bring the shirt up here this time, but that'll be up on the website here soon. Just really quick, next week is the I'm Married Now What conference. It is my conference sponsored by Ladi CEO. It is August 12th, 2020 at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Zoom. It is free $99. So if you're interested, you may have been thinking about your wedding day. You think, oh, that's the destination. That's how I'm going to get there. But a lot of people are like, now what am I going to do now that I'm married? What, I see the memes. People be like, I wouldn't even know what to do. What do you feed it? How do you take care of it? So we have 3 people. I'm going to be moderating it. 3 panelists. Suzzen Stroman. She's been married for 30 years. She's actually the person who, when I asked God when I told God I wanted to be married, she's actually, I feel like I go through boot camp with her with marriage. She gives it to me straight up. No chaser. Look, boo, this is what it is. And it's just, and I love it. Keishorne Scott, I hope I'm saying that right. He's a relationship expert. He has several books out about relationships. And I have Dr. Liv, she's a therapist, and she also has a book called From Miss to Mrs. So Fancy has the Eventbrite up on the screen. Again, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time next Wednesday. I hope to see y'all there. It's free, virtual. Come out and join us.
All right, and I just want to add right quick. We are, oh gosh, let me put it up. Okay, so we are doing a promo for our app release. And right now it is $25. Basically, you get a listing on our new app, which we will be releasing this month. And I'm kind of excited about it. I hadn't just really mentioned it because I just wanted to make certain that, we had everything together. So if anybody is interested in getting their business listed, then you all can send us an email at advertise@swagger.net as it's on the screen. And I guess I'll just drop this in the comments as well. And that $25 is good for the 1 month from the release itself until. So it'll be good like for 30 days. So yeah, hit us up if you have any questions about it or if you're interested. And it's that.
Tonight I have on a Southern Girl with City Green shirt. You can find this in Miss Thing's boutique. Have my green shirt on. I don't know. I love money. I love green. I was about to say I love money, but it's green. I like green. Green means new beginnings. Okay. And that is Miss Thing's boutique, where you put S's, it is Z's. Also, don't forget, you can follow me on Instagram at lady.ceo, lady with the I, LADI. .ceo, Facebook, Lady CEO, Twitter, I'm _A_ Lady CEO, YouTube, Lady CEO Media, and I have A Lady and Her Wine. You can follow the group, A Lady and Her Wine with the I, on Facebook to get more information. Don't forget, check out the news stories and everything on swagher.net. Anything else fancy?
Nope. Thanks, y'all, for watching, and peace and blessings.
Bye.